It's been a little bit since I've been in front of a camera. Huh. Weird. Hello and welcome. I am so happy to be back, and I'm so happy to start off doing something a little fun. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the Paper Mario 1 and 2, that would be 64 and the Thousand Year Door partners. Anything beyond this game is trash. Just kidding. I actually do like Super Paper Mario, but their partners are not really rememberable. So I think this tier list is awesome. I didn't make it, but shout out to whoever did. I don't know if it shows on here, but yeah, let's get right into it. I'll just go in order of the playlist, the tier list rather. We got Kid Yoshi, GOAT. I don't think I even have to describe very much. In Thousand Year Door, he makes the game so accessible. There's a little bit of backtracking in Thousand Year Door that can get criticized a little bit. He makes it so much easier because you're so much faster. You can, get to areas you couldn't before with this little flutter jump. And I think overall, one of my favorite characters just as a character in that game too. He kind of looks up to you like a little brother, and it gives you that little dynamic, that 1-2 punch. So cool. Oh man, how am I not gonna put most of these people in S tier? Because my boy Bobbery, S tier character. Character design, all the designs are awesome. So I'm not even gonna really talk about the design too much because I think besides I honestly think all of them are awesome for what they're going for. But his whole backstory with his wife passing away while he was at sea and not really, wanting to go back out on the sea because he felt so guilty about missing his wife's death. And then you give him that final note, which for some reason Mario was the delivery guy of. No one else thought to deliver this note that his wife wrote him. So everyone else is terrible for that. Can we agree on that? And yeah, no, he's just such an awesome character. Very useful in battle too. I didn't really touch on that with Yoshi, but his abilities are super great in battle. They're a little flower point heavy, but super great in battle. Super great story, lovable character, GOAT. And I will order these, but we'll come back to that. This Bombette might be the worst, which is wild, but Bombette really just wasn't very memorable. Hey, I think about Paper Mario 64 in general. I always kind of think of it of being a little lesser, but still as great as Thousand Year Door. I always put Thousand Year Door a little bit above that. And one of the things Thousand Year Door I think did a little bit better job of was not having a character like Bombette where you kind of just meet her and that's really it. She's in prison. She then joins Mario and breaks out of prison with her ability, so she could have just done that. She could have just blown up the wall that you blow up to get her and the rest of the bombs out. I don't know. There's no real other character development for her. She's just a bomb. A cool character in the game. When you're playing through, one of my better partners, but still just as a character, not really there. Boo! I forget what her name is. Either way, A tier is my thought. I think she's busted in Paper Mario. That slap goes crazy. A lifesaver in a lot of battle. I was gonna say battle utility. The character's kind of fun. She was originally your enemy kind of thing. And Thousand Year Door kind of steals a little bit of that also with a ghost-like character. So, they kind of follow suit that way. But, yeah, no, very battle-heavy utility here. The character itself, it's cool that she was kind of your enemy at one point and then just begrudgingly joins you kind of thing. But the actual battle utility on her is so strong in Paper Mario 64 that I have to put her up there. And just a fun character. It's cool to have a Boo. That's an important part too. Like with Yoshi, you know, it's cool to have a partner that was a Yoshi. Like, I just think that's awesome. Flurry. Ooh, I don't like Flurry. I never use Flurry. Anyone who's watched me play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door knows that I do not like Flurry. I have a hard time putting her below Bombette only because her story is a little more fleshed. So as well, I think I actually like Bombette a little more. I think I can respect the fact that Flurry is like this theater personality and like you kind of help her restore that there's character growth there. And I can't just disregard that because sometimes I like to use a bomb in battle, in my opinion. Goombario. That's the GOAT. I don't know that he's the GOAT, but I think I'd put him here. And I think right now this is in order, I would say, for me personally. Goombario is awesome. He's hilarious. Me and my friends have a running bit that he's a realtor because any place you go to, he'll just start describing the interior a lot if he doesn't have like a hint or like a fun fact to tell you. And we got a lot of laughs out of going through each area and trying to, you know, see what he would say about the interior of the building or things like that. But also just a super useful character. He's like your bro. He's kind of gives the Yoshi vibe. He like looks up to Mario in a way, and it's a cool to see him develop and grow and kind of grow a confidence that he didn't really have. I will say 64 doesn't do a great job at showing those kind of growths compared to 1000 Year Door, but he's definitely a unique exception of that in this game. Goombella, I gotta go A tier. I think over Boo. I think Goombella is awesome, very useful, but I think 1000 Year Door did a little bit better of a job at building other partners that were busted. So unfortunately I have to put Goombella down there. She's like in love with Mario, but who isn't, right? Who's not in love with Mario? I'm not, but but very useful character. The Tattle Goat, you know, in Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, they make it, you know, they give you that tattle log. It's a little more accessible to be like that completionist type, you know, get every single tattle of every single enemy. And you can't do that without her. And that being said, we have the two Koopa Troopas back to back. We have Cooper and Koops. Cooper, honestly, he's kind of mid. It's like if Koops didn't have any personality, in my opinion. Like, his utility in battle is good, so we might end up changing that. But his personality itself, you meet him because his shell was stolen, just like the rest of the Koopas. And then you give him his blue shell back, and he wants to go exploring. You know what? I'm starting to think a little bit and starting to remember a little bit more. You know, he looks up to Colorado. I gotta put him in B tier. He looks up to Colorado a lot. He kind of wants to explore with you, and that kind of drives him. And I think that part of that was escaping me on my initial impression. So that's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with B tier. I will change my opinion based on my newfound respect of his love to travel and his love to explore, and going with Mario to do that. Now, Koops, that's another GOAT. I'm gonna put him there. I love his character development. That's one of, you know, the turtle is very useful. Both turtles are very useful in battle because their defense is high, so they have great battle utility. But I love his story of, like, you know, he's got to find his dad, and then when he finds his dad and you help him do that, he wants to travel with you, grow his confidence, become a man per se. I think he literally says that, despite being a turtle. And he grows that confidence throughout 1000 Year Door, and at the end you can kind of see, like, he's a confident guy. He goes back and the village, you know, is all, yeah, Koops. And it's super awesome to see him grow like that. So On to then Lackluster. I loved this as a kid. I'm gonna put him there. I think I'm gonna put him in B above Cooper. I loved his character. I thought it was so cool that they had a partner that was a Lakitu, and his name was Lackluster, and he had like swaggy. He just has a swaggy vibe to him, you know, and that's an old word to use, but he's got a swagger. Battle utility is give or take is so in my opinion. And granted, I should say with my battle utility, I'm not, when I talk about that, I'm not a speedrunner, like things like that, so I don't know that I'm inherently super qualified to talk about it, but I've played the game a lot of times. And with that being said, you know, he doesn't have you meet him very late in the game. He doesn't have a lot of character development. Very useful outside of battle. Navigating over obstacles and things. Battle utility is okay. I would mostly just use him because I thought he was cool. And that going on to Miss Mouse. Ignore that, I got an email. Oops. Oh, that's a good email to get though. Miss Mouse. Ooh. There's a big open hole in C tier. I don't know though. I kind of like Miss Mouse. The whole story of like you see her along the journey and then you can get her as your partner. And she's not super useful in battle. Yeah. I don't know. That's tough. She's not very useful in battle. Very useful for finding loot and things though. But you don't need her for it. In fact, she's not even a required partner. That being said, I do like Miss Mouse, but I don't think I like her more than any of these other characters. So unfortunately, she's gonna place a little lower. But that's just the, you know, I think that's more what's the word I'm looking for? It's more an attest to the competition that she's up against, you know, not so much who she is. And with that, we have Parakarry, and I'm gonna put him there. Another situation of cool character, you know, he's a postal worker, without saying postal worker because I'm sure that's like protected, but like he is a mailman, right? And the cool, respectable guy, you know, you've got the gimmick of finding the letters throughout the game and things like that. But battle utility is not great. I pretty much would only use him when I'd have a gap to cross that you couldn't jump across and you required his outside of battle ability. His battle abilities I wasn't crazy about when there's other partners on the block. So unfortunately he's going to go down there, but I actually do like his character a lot. And with that, we have Sushi. I'm going to put at the top of B, which is a little wild. I don't really care for Sushi's character too much. But Sushi, once I get Sushi, it kind of becomes the only person I use in battle for partners. Sushi and Goombario kind of like rotate that slot with Boo sometimes. They kind of, what am I looking for? Sushi lacks a character in a way. You kind of meet Sushi and help her. She's trying to, you know, babysit all these Yoshis. But besides that, like, after that, there's not a lot of character growth or anything like that. Sushi just kind of joins you to save the island and things like that. But, I mean, she helps you get back to the island because you couldn't, you know, find the Yoshis without her. She clearly couldn't find the Yoshis without you. But, like, beyond that, there's just not a lot of character for me there. But I will say the battle utility puts her very higher than maybe I would have prior to no battle utility. Vivian. This is a hard one for me. Back and forth here. I don't know. I have to do it. The battle utility wins. Super cool idea. It takes the execution of enemy turned partner and does it way better because she is your enemy far before, you know, Boo ever was in Paper Mario 64. You battle her once. Twice? I have to, don't check me on that. You battle her and it is established they are a recurring enemy. And then you get her as a partner because Mario has stolen his identity has been stolen by Dupless. She has no idea you're Mario somehow. The silhouette doesn't just give it away. And it's so cool when she finally realizes you're Mario. She like feels guilty for helping you, leaves, and then comes back and like you win the battle. And it's like, yeah, this is awesome. And her abilities are gross. They're busted. Gotta put her up there. Cool character development. And in the end, she reconciles with her sisters, and all is good. They take away from the evil light. They don't, they don't do evil no more, or anymore rather. And with that, we'll have Watt, one of my favorite characters growing up. I'm gonna just do this because of personal preference. I've always been, some of you will know I love electric type Pokemon. And growing up, I had this irrational love of Watt because of something like that. So, despite being okay in battle, some cool abilities and things, not having a lot of character, I actually just loved like the electricity part. I don't know why. It's totally irrational. It's the most irrational thing for this tier list. But I think I'm happy with where I'm at here. I like all of this. I like the order I've got it in. You kind of see 64, besides Goombario, peaks around this B tier, and is a real testament to Thousand Year Door, which I'm so excited for the remake. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to see a lot of coverage of that. Just to see Thousand Year Door's people, 5 of those partners are in the top 2 tiers, and I think that speaks a lot to how Thousand Year Door was able to improve on the story writing aspects of such a great series. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like, all that stuff. I'm happy to slowly integrate content back into my life. Look out for some of this stuff. This was just really a video I wanted to make to get my feet off the ground and say I'm starting somewhere. So I appreciate all of you, and let me know what your opinions are in the comments below. Let me know where we disagree. I'll see you in the next one.